What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you guys clicking on the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Nintendo 3DS XL. Now, this isn't just any Nintendo 3DS XL. It was actually sent over to me by redproclub.com, and what that company does is they find devices that are kind of end of life. They're either damaged or in really rough shape, and they recondition them, and they add a few other goodies to them as well to make them more universally enjoyable, and then they sell them on their website. Now, they don't only do Nintendo 3DS products. They actually have a wide variety of different retro portables. They've got things from Game Boy Pocket upwards to the PS Vita. So they've actually got quite a few different options. Now, one of the big selling features that this company does, aside from the reconditioning, which quite honestly, it looks excellent. If you look at this device, they quote this as a near perfect A+ fully restored device. But one of the other big features is that they actually modify these. They install custom firmware and they preload these things up, and they include an SD card full of lots of games. So you actually get quite a bit, and they're pretty much ready to play right out of the box. Now, in terms of price point, these things range anywhere from $260 for something that they consider a quote-unquote functional D-grade device. It's going to be in fairly used condition, all the way up to a fully restored device like I have in my hand. Price point can go as high as $650, but even for what I'm holding right here, this was actually $350 if you wanted to go on their website today and purchase this. That price goes up depending on the storage capacity that you're looking at buying. What this one's going to come with is a 128 gigabyte SD card, fully loaded up with a bunch of different games. So for a 128 gig A+ near perfect fully restored device, you're looking to pay about $350. Now, I understand that's actually on fairly high end for a Nintendo 3DS console. You can absolutely find them in your local classifieds for far less. This product is going to be primarily focused and aimed at the user who isn't quite as technical, and maybe they don't want to spend time learning how to configure or install custom configuration or firmware onto their device, and then sideloading a bunch of games or using the extra app stores or things like that. They just want something they can purchase, turn on, and play right out of the box. Now, Red Pro Club does a really good job. They sent me a list of all the things that they look for on the devices when they're reconditioning. So that's going to be everything from the screens being damaged, the speakers, if the buttons don't work properly, if the touch panel's not working correctly, if the Wi-Fi chip inside is no good, if the card reader up top is not working, they'll replace that. If the SD card reader isn't working, pretty much you name it, they look for it and then they fix it. Obviously, there's a whole wide variety of different styles you can go with. I went with this Charizard AliExpress artwork. I thought it was really cool, and because I was getting a product like this, I wasn't really worried about it having the official cases on it anyways. You can obviously tell it's missing the serial number back here. This is obviously a third-party case, but overall it actually looks really, really nice. Everything on it looks nice and clean. All the connectors work and they look really good. The frame itself looks like it's in relatively good shape. They did mention that they don't like to replace the frames, and I did notice that there's a couple little scuffs. You can kind of see right here, there's a scuff down here, and there's a few other scuffs in other places. This is a reconditioned device, so it's not going to be perfect, but I think they've done a relatively good job. And if you don't care what the condition is, you're okay with something that's a little bit more beat up, you can spend as little as $260 and get yourself a D-grade device that's fully customized with all of those games preloaded as well. So they've got a lot of options for a lot of different people. Just depends on what you're looking for. Now, taking a look at the actual software itself, I'm going to go ahead and put the volume down just so it's not so annoying. Because it's got the custom configuration and the custom firmware installed on there, you get access to all of the homebrew style apps and eShops. So you can see here we've got the Ghost eShop. That's going to give you access to a lot of the titles that were on the official Nintendo eShop, including some of the virtual console games that you can download and play. You've also got access to the H-Shop, which, if you're not familiar with that, that is a community-built eShop that allows you to go on there and effectively download any of the 3DS games that you want. But of course, you are going to be getting literally dozens and dozens of 3DS games pre-installed, and depending on the storage package, the lowest storage package is 128 gigs. That's what I've got here. But obviously, the more storage you purchase from them, the more games they're going to pre-install. So you really can do whatever you want on that scale. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the actual gameplay performance. As you guys probably know, you are running these games directly on the native hardware. Obviously, we're playing 3DS games on a Nintendo 3DS, but they're not emulated by software whatsoever, which is the nice thing about this custom firmware. So you're effectively downloading the games like you would have from Nintendo, and you're playing them on the hardware as it was designed. So performance on any 3DS game is going to be perfect. It'll be completely flawless, and we'll do a little bit of a gameplay section in the video for you guys to check out as well. One of the other things that I noticed on here is that they include the Super Nintendo SNES 9X emulator, and that actually comes fully loaded with the entire Super Nintendo library, which was a nice touch. And Super Nintendo is a great console to play in this form factor. The game is going to display up top, and I'll show you guys a little bit of footage of gameplay there as well. But that does actually bring me to a missed opportunity that I noticed from these guys. Obviously, they include the Super Nintendo games, but there are other emulators that they could have included out of the box, which would have been nice. There is a Game Boy Advance emulator. There is an NES emulator. You can install RetroArch as an example, and you would have access to a bunch more things. And the Nintendo 3DS is a great device. It's not a super powerful device, but for its time and what it currently offers, it's a really good device. It's got a great screen. The controls feel really good. The handheld style is nice and comfortable in your hands. It's a good handheld to play a bunch of retro games, so I feel like it was a little bit of a missed opportunity not to include some of those other emulation-based softwares or emulators on the device. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump into some gameplay. We'll check out some standard 3DS games, and then I'll show you guys a little bit of the Super Nintendo games as well, and then we're going to wrap things up. Alright, so there you guys have it. That is the gameplay section. 3DS games played perfectly. Obviously, you would expect them to. Super Nintendo games played perfectly. You would expect them to. Game Boy Advance games, if you were to play those on here, they're going to play perfectly. A lot of those games that they've got originally running through here, through the Virtual Console, would have run perfectly, and you would be very happy with the gameplay performance on this device. So all in all, it's actually a fairly good device, especially if you are somebody who's not very technical and you don't want to go through the trouble of installing any of those mods to the device. Everything out of the box is going to run perfectly well. The team over at Red Pro Club actually gave me a discount code I can kick over to you guys. It's just my channel name, Restalgia. Picking one up, you can grab any of their products really, whether it's a 3DS or some other handheld. You're going to get 10% off if you use the coupon code Restalgia. But that's pretty much all I've got for you guys in this video. I do want to give another shout out to Red Pro Club for sending me the 3DS. Like I said, it's a great device. If you're interested in picking one up that's preloaded and ready to go and you don't have to do anything to it, as I said earlier, obviously, if you're technical, you may be able to mod your own 3DS. If you guys are actually interested in me making a tutorial video showing you step-by-step how to modify a Nintendo 3DS, let me know in the comment section down below. But as always, I will leave some links in the description for you guys to check this out or learn a little bit more. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys again real soon.